Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba Ki Jai. Although your satsang seem normal to me, does that make me crazy? I don't know how to answer that. We're same. Let's put it that way now. Whether that makes us crazy or not, I don't know. Then next one says, how can one with very down emotions be present? We'll look at that in a moment. You want to come up, my dear? Jama. Jama. There you are. Acha.
Namaste, Ananta.
Namaste. Your question was, how can one be the presence even when the emotions are very low? Is that what it is?
Sorry, I didn't.
Is your question, how can one just be the presence even when the emotions seem to be quite low?
Yes, because I have this experience of every day being very low, and even I follow satsangs, it's like I'm in the hole, you know. So I try to follow the pointings and be present. So the the down emotions and sensations, mm, not paying attention to that, but to the presence. But I cannot take, get it. So I'm down all day. It's my emotion, it's my mood, it's my sadness, it's my all is there.
So the only thing that needs to change, and the only thing that is really happening in satsang, is that we come to the end of our limitation. You see? So we are taking ourselves to be a limited entity. You see? We're taking ourselves to have a boundary, have a shape. You see? Now, in coming to satsang, we realize and we see that there is no such boundary or shape. You see? What
Mm-hmm.
happens with that is that the appearances that appear in this waking realm, you see, these appearances, then we don't have feel like these have to change, you see, or something has to be done about them. And therefore, what happens is that we are able to meet them completely openly with full acceptance. You see,
Mm-hmm.
instead of a resistance that this is not good, this has to go, or this is very good, this has to stay. You see, when we get caught up in the mental distinctions of good and not good, you see, stay and not stay, that is when all these things seem more troublesome than they are.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yes.
So, so what we need to do is just stop making distinctions. Don't make distinctions and allow everything to unfold as it is unfolding. The mind will, of course, present various expectations to you and say, but I am in satsang so that this goes away. I am in satsang so that I can be happy. You see? But you've tried it that way for long enough. You've tried it with expectations for long enough, no? Now try without expectation. You see? and without labeling, you see, without judgment of whether something is low emotion or high emotion, you see, for your beingness, your pure being, which does not take itself to be a limited entity, nothing is either low or high.
Yes, but I don't feel that. I
Yes,
just
but the
feel the low emotion and the
yeah,
low
yeah,
energy and the low. Then it's like I cannot get out of here.
yeah. So what you have to do is let's try together. You see if you can find an emotion and perceive that emotion. Can you find such an emotion?
Yes.
Now, see if the label low or bad or or not wanting is inherent in that emotion itself, or does it come from somewhere else?
It's just emotion.
It's just emotion, isn't it? Now, the low, that it is low or bad and should go, where does that come from?
Sorry, say again.
The idea that it is low or down, where does that come from?
Well, it's come from the reality that I see of my down energy, my um, down emotion. It comes
Okay.
from the experience itself.
Right. So, so let's look at that emotion again. Just perceive it. And you said it is just emotion. That means it is label-less. It is notion-less. You see. Now, if you had to label it as good or bad, what would you have to do?
But
Yeah. Correct. What is the process by which you did that? You see, you say it comes from experience. You see, now experience means past, isn't it? So, how do we bring an experience of the past into the present?
I am sorry, but it goes. It's a little bit difficult to follow you sometimes.
Yes,
Could you
yes,
repeat, please?
yes, my dear. So, you said that the idea of it being down or low comes from the past, your past experience. Yes? Are you able
No,
to follow?
it's not my past experience. It's my present experience.
Yes, but the idea that it is low is not present in the present experience. No? Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Go to such an emotion and tell me whether already it is low or high.
Entiendo. I don't understand.
Ah, let me try another way. Let's try another way. So keep your attention on the emotion that you're experiencing. You keep your attention on that. Now, if I say to everyone in this room, only the one that is experiencing that emotion at this present moment has won the lottery ticket of freedom forever. With me?
Es que no te entiendo. I don't understand your English. Sorry.
I'm so
Could you
sorry, my
speak
dear.
slowly?
But what is your original language?
Spanish.
Spanish. So who can help with some translation? You can raise your hand, my dear. And yes, Gina has been doing some of this anyway. So let's try this. We've never had this on Zoom before, but let's see if this works. Okay. So I was saying, you got the example, no? The lottery example.
¿Entendiste el ejemplo de la lotería entonces?
De la lotería, no, no sé, no he entendido nada de lotería.
I didn't understand it.
Okay. So let's try again. Now, keep your attention on the perception of the emotion that you're feeling.
Mantén la atención en la percepción de la emoción que estás sintiendo.
Now, if I said to everybody in the room that only those who are experiencing this emotion,
Si yo le dijera a todo el mundo aquí en la sala que solamente aquellos que están sintiendo esa percepción,
those ones have won the freedom lottery,
que solamente aquellos han ganado la lotería de la libertad
and they will have a million lifetimes of pure bliss after this,
y que van a tener 1.000.000 de vidas de pura dicha después de esto,
then is that emotion good or bad now?
entonces esa emoción ahora es buena o mala.
I guess it's good, but I don't know if I want to have
So,
some thousands of years of good emotions
exactly.
anyway.
Whatever, let's say the prize is whatever you want the most.
Digamos que el premio es lo que sea que vos más quieras.
Not to feel like this would be the price.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So the emotion would be good because would mean that I won't have this emotion anymore, which is a little bit contradictory.
it's fine. Whatever I'm just pointing out that there is a perception, a pure perception, but the judgment about it, no matter what that perception is,
Yo lo que estoy diciendo es que hay una percepción, hay una pura percepción y el juicio de eso, más allá de cuál sea la percepción,
comes from our intellect.
viene de nuestro intelecto.
That is why Guruji has said that nothing that appears has inherent meaning.
Por eso Guruji dice que nada de lo que aparezca tiene un significado inherente.
But it is the mind's job to convince you
Pero el trabajo de la mente es convencerte
that in the appearance of something itself,
que en la misma aparición de algo,
it means something,
eso significa algo,
especially if it means it's bad thing.
especialmente si es algo malo.
And that is what prevents whatever healing has to happen anyway.
Y eso es lo que evita la sanación que tenga que suceder.
You see? Because the highest way to heal, you see, in this world is
La, for-
pure perception.
la forma más elevada de sanar en este mundo es la pura percepción.
You see? Now, do you find that these labels have become too strong and you will not be able to give them up just by my pointing them out to you?
Encuentras que estas etiquetas son muy fuertes y no vas a poder soltarlas solamente yo señalando esto, diciendo que las sueltes.
Well, I'm trying to do it since 10 years now.
Yes. Yes. So too tough. Too tough.
Muy difícil.
Yes or no?
¿Sí o no? Es muy difícil. Demasiado difícil.
I don't know if it's difficult. The only thing is that I'm having these problems time after time after time during so long time that I don't know anymore if to believe what the doctor says or if to believe what the pointings of Muji, because no one or another seems to, to serve to serve me to be free of myself.
I understand. I completely understand. So when it becomes very difficult to let go of the labels, the notions which we think are reality, which we think are true,
Cuando se vuelva,
then sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
cuando se vuelva entonces muy difícil soltar estas etiquetas de lo que pensamos que es la realidad, de lo que pensamos que es la verdad,
You see? So then it has been advised that we try to inquire into the nature of who we are.
entonces el consejo sería que tratemos de indagar en la naturaleza de lo que somos,
You see? Because we attach the label, the notion to ourself, but this ourself we are not so clear about.
porque apegamos la etiqueta a nosotros, pero este nosotros o este yo no está claro quién es.
You see? So, so this inquiry, who am I?
Esta
Can you tell me who
indagación,
you are?
esta indagación, ¿quién soy yo? ¿Vos me puedes decir quién tú eres?
No, I can't. I can't say
So,
who I am.
so this is not bad news. It is not like failing a test. It is actually very good news.
Esta no sería una mala noticia, entonces no sería como desaprobar un examen, es muy buena noticia,
You see? Because every notion has this I at the center of it.
porque cada noción tiene a este yo en el centro.
Once you admit that I don't really know who I am, then this central protagonist,
Y una
central
vez,
character, yeah,
y una vez que admites que yo no sé quién soy, entonces este protagonista central
mhm, starts losing its strength.
comienza a perder su fuerza.
Mhm. And then there is no room or no space to fix the notion to.
Y luego no hay ningún lugar, ningún espacio al cual adjuntar esta noción.
And then without notion,
Y
you
luego,
cannot suffer.
y luego sin nociones no puedes sufrir.
This you can try actually. Try
Y
to suffer without any idea.
trata de sufrir sin ninguna idea.
I understand, but when I wake up every morning, I suffer. I wake up suffering, and I'm not even conscious as a person yet that I'm already suffering.
Yeah. So, what is that suffering? When you wake up in the morning, how do you know that you are suffering?
¿Cómo es el sufrimiento? Cuando te despertás a la mañana, ¿cómo sabes que estás sufriendo?
Se lo traduces en inglés porque no sé cómo se dice. Me levanto temblando
I, w-
y,
I
y
wake up
con
and I'm shaking
temblando y con es que es muy difícil de decir.
Okay.
Con, eh, um, con una sensación de vacío interno total.
I wake up and I'm shaking and I have a total feeling of internal emptiness.
So that, you see, that experience, like a great master Nisargadatta Maharaj said, you are not experiencing suffering, you are suffering, you are experiencing.
Hay un gran maestro, Nisargadatta Maharaj, que dijo que no estás experimentando el sufrimiento, sino que estás sufriendo tu experienciar.
And I'm not asking you to deny the experience that you are experiencing. You
Yo
see?
no te
So
pido que niegues la experiencia que estás experimentando.
the pain is apparent that you are going through some pain in your day-to-day experience. And,
El dolor es
and
aparente, es obvio, vos estás experimentando este dolor en tu experiencia diaria.
you see, and possibly you are going through more pain than most of us in this room today because of whatever condition is there.
Y posiblemente estés atravesando más dolor que la mayoría de nosotros hoy en esta sala por el cuadro o la condición que sea que esté allí ahora.
You see? But even in that case, there is still a distinction between pain and suffering.
Pero inclusive en ese caso hay una distinción entre el dolor y el sufrimiento.
You see? So pain is what your natural experience, if you had to use a simple label, you call that pain.
El dolor es la experiencia natural. Si tuvieses que usar una etiqueta simple, lo llamas dolor.
Yes. And but this pain seems like it is much worse, you see, when we make suffering out of it.
Pero,
And to make, sorry, my dear, but to make suffering out of it, you have to use your mind.
pero este dolor parece mucho peor cuando lo convertimos en sufrimiento. Y para convertirlo en sufrimiento es necesario usar la mente.
You see? So, so my whole attempt here, and all the masters, what they are trying to do, is to try and remove the suffering out of human experience,
Lo que yo,
because pain is inherent in human experience.
lo que yo estoy queriendo hacer y todos los maestros es tratar entonces de eliminar el sufrimiento, porque el dolor es inherente a la experiencia humana.
So you can not have the pain that you experienced this morning, but you can still suffer from the experience of this morning.
Podés tener o no el dolor que tuviste y aún sufrir de la experiencia que tuviste esta mañana.
Is it? And the way to do that is to pull out our idea of what is happening to us from our mind.
Y lo que puedes hacer es simplemente sacar de la mente la idea de lo que nos está pasando a nosotros.
Otherwise, we become like little children who sometimes suffer from colic pain. Is it?
Si no, somos como pequeños niños que a veces sufren de cólicos o de dolores,
Is it?
o dolores
So
crónicos.
what happened to children is like my son, he used to have colic pain every evening,
Por ejemplo, mi hijo tenía estos dolores siempre todas las noches,
but he would cry about it only during the time that the pain was there.
pero solamente lloraba cuando el dolor aparecía.
But he did not have the ability yet to make suffering out of it because he was not judging the experience.
Todavía no tenía la capacidad de convertirla en sufrimiento porque no estaba juzgando en la experiencia.
You see? So, my advice to you is that whatever pain you are experiencing because of your condition, whatever best advice, medical advice, whatever best therapy, whatever is available in the world, please do that for the pain that is there. You see, but in satsang, when as you are discovering your reality, you will find that you will lose the ability to suffer from those experiences.
Entonces, con respecto al dolor que estás sintiendo aquí en Satsang, lo que vas a sentir es que vas a perder la capacidad de sufrir de esta experiencia, esto más allá de lo que hagas en el mundo con la terapia o los médicos que seas que veas para este dolor específicamente.
Is there the experience of some suffering right now?
¿Está ahora la experiencia de sufrimiento?
Uh, yes.
Can you locate it? Can you locate this suffering?
¿La puedes encontrar? ¿Puedes encontrar el sufrimiento? ¿Lo puedes ubicar?
Well, I think the suffer now is in my mind. In the story that there's it is so many years that I'm suffering for this, and yeah, probably I made a story of now I'm not able to to be by myself because all this pressure that made me so down. I cannot do things by myself.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
So
So
it's in my mind, of course. It's in my mind, but it's how you get out of your mind. It's not that it's 1 month that happened. It's too many years. It's 16 years actually. I told you the other day, but
so good. I'm happy that you said you were able to spot that it is in the mind. Now, I'm not going to say get rid of your mind for a moment. You
Estoy
see,
feliz de que
I'm just
pudiste, estoy feliz de que pudiste ver que está en tu mente y no voy a decir que te liberes de tu mente por un momento.
I'm just going to ask you that is there more to your being than the mind?
Solamente te voy a preguntar si hay más en tu ser que tu mente.
but I don't know what is my being.
Ah, so when I said, where is this suffering coming from? You said, I can see it is in my mind. You see?
It's a story, yes.
You see? Now, besides that story, you exist, isn't it?
Yes, but I don't like how I'm existing.
Okay, so that statement, was that also from the mind or from the rest of your existence?
From all my existence, what I do, what I don't do, I actually I don't do nothing, and now it's um, I'm, I'm estoy parada en mi vida,
Parada como paralizada, ¿querés decir?
paralizada, exacto, estoy
I,
paralizada en mi vida.
I feel like I'm paralyzed in my life.
So anything that takes time is the mind.
Todo lo que lleva tiempo es la mente.
Right now, you're just being. Right now, right now, right now, now.
Ahora mismo solo eres.
The the denial will come from your mind, but even that will take time.
La mente lo va a rechazar o lo va a negar, pero inclusive eso lleva tiempo.
What happened is that um, maybe for me being it's that Gemma, the person, is having a life with some activities or something, and now I'm paralyzed. I'm doing nothing. I'm just eat, sleep, and nothing else. So this makes mm, by mind saying, what do I do? What kind of I'm not doing nothing for what I do. For what do I exist like this? I don't exist. For what do I exist if I'm sleeping and eating and sleeping and eating and nothing else?
Okay,
So
so I'm
I
not, I'm not, I'm not making a joke about your condition, but it sounds like you're sleeping, eating, coming to satsang, you see. So it just sounds like a sadhu life.
No quiero hacer una broma sobre tu cuadro, tu condición, pero decís que estás durmiendo, estás comiendo, venís a satsang, parece como la vida de un sadhu.
So I would like to do at least that, to go to some place and be like a sadhu and stay there and recover my pure being there, recovering as a discovering in another way. But I'm close in my parents' house. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you a secret, you see,
Te cuento un secreto.
that it is never dependent on the place.
Nunca tiene nada que ver con el lugar.
You could be in a cave, you see, trying to
Podrías,
be a sadhu, but you could become the most egotistical person there.
podrías estar en una cueva tratando de ser un sadhu y convertirte en el ser más egoico que esté allí.
You see. It is completely independent of where you are,
Es completamente
because
independiente del lugar donde estés.
we don't have to renounce anything in the world.
Porque no tenemos que renunciar a nada en el mundo.
In fact, we just have to be grateful to whatever has been given to us.
Solamente estar agradecidos por lo que sea que se nos haya dado.
But wherever we are is the most suitable place for self discovery.
Pero donde sea que estemos ahora es el lugar más apto para el autodescubrimiento.
So, so just you are making very good progress. You are making very good progress.
Y estás progresando muy, muy bien.
Although your mind is telling you that you are not making any progress.
Aunque tu mente te está diciendo que no estás haciendo ningún progreso.
You see? But because you have the ability now that you can spot the story, you can spot the mind, which most of humanity does not have.
Pero tú tienes la capacidad de encontrar a la historia y encontrar a la mente, y la mayoría de la humanidad no puede hacer eso.
And my blessing is, my feeling is that besides the mind, besides the story, it is my blessing that you discover what else is you
Y mi,
besides this.
mi bendición y lo que siento es que más allá de la historia y de la mente, que vos descubras lo que hay en ti, más allá de todo esto.
And it is not difficult.
Y no es difícil.
So if I ask you, can you stop being now?
Si yo te pregunto, ¿puedes dejar de ser ahora?
I just have this sensation when I go sleep.
Say again, my dear, or she can tell me.
I just have this sensation when I go to sleep.
What is the sensation?
¿Cómo es la sensación?
that I stop being.
But right now, in the waking state, try to stop being.
Y ahora en este estado de vigilia trata de dejar de ser.
No, I can't.
Is it? Now, that which you can't stop, is it just your mind?
Eso que no puedes detener solamente es tu mente.
No, it's
That's it.
my it's myself also.
Yes.
It's me. It's my conscience, my
Yes.
awareness.
Yes.
I need
Does
a
that
Guruji next to me every day. Every day I need a Guruji next to me to resolve this. Well, sorry.
it's not bad. I can tell you that on the YouTube channel, no, Satsang with Ananta, there are more Satsang videos than there are subscribers.
En el
So,
canal de YouTube Satsang with Ananta hay más videos de YouTube que de suscriptores.
as much as you want, as much as you want to hear, as much as you want a master available is available to you.
Tanto como necesites al maestro, el maestro va a estar disponible.
So to resume, because my memory is very bad, and I don't know now what you said. To resume, things pointing to help me in this. This is today. I just went to the psychiatrist, and he told me that I have a strong character and I should change that. And it's like, what the hell?
So both your psychiatrist and your master, let them for the moment work on different aspects of your being. You see, your psychiatrist can work on your mind and whatever needs to be done over there. My job is to introduce you to that which is beyond the mind. You see, and hopefully one day both will help each other. You see, but for now, don't confuse the two things. You see?
Yes.
More than anything else, more than anything that I'm saying, I just want to again give you all my love, all my blessings, and all my prayers to Guruji that this whatever affliction, whatever condition that you are experiencing as this expression of consciousness in this life, may His grace heal everything that has to be healed. And if you watch some more of the videos, then you will become more familiar with my accent also.
Yes, I'm watching your videos actually, but sometimes some words I don't get. Some words that I don't know in English probably I don't know in the accent actually.
It's good. It's fine. Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ananta. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgina. Thank you for. I could tell it's very good translation. Thank
Thank you
you.
for Georgina. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So we have Aniko here, who's been crying at least for the last 45 minutes. Let's see what it's about.
Namaste,
Namaste, my
Anand.
dear.
Thank you for let me speak to you. Uh, actually, in this life, I met Muji Baba. And then after I met you, I'm sorry.
So it's from what I'm hearing is that you met Guruji and then you met his toenail also. It is still meeting Guruji only.
And you both blessed me. And then I'm so sorry. So,
Okay. Take your time. Take your time.
I just okay. I don't know why I get this grace. And still I'm so shameful because I so much love you and trust you and still a lot of fear in me because I don't want to lose this. Okay.
Let me recap and see if I understood correctly. You said that you met Guruji and you met me, and you fathom why you had this phase in your life, and yet you feel like you're so fearful of what? Fearful that you will lose this?
I'm fearful for death that I die
Death.
and I will lose you and I lose Mujibaba and born again in a little creature doesn't know anything about truth and depend on everybody else and just growing up and looking for something very hard, doesn't even know what is, and just looking in blind and just suffer and now everything in here for me and I just always find something on my body and the mind make a big things and I can die any minute actually. This is the feeling and I cannot even express how much I feel. I don't know, lucky or blessed to know you and Muji Baba. I just want to stop here or I don't know, just then fully die. When I was a child, even I asked the God to take away my existence because I don't want to exist and this means for me that I don't want this circulation. I'm so sorry because I
Oh,
always
it's
tell
fine.
to you inside me and to Guruji as well that I give you everything and I surrender everything and still these things is always coming back.
It's okay. It's okay. So, what do you feel like the fear of death is about?
Yeah.
Is it a fear of loss that you will lose everything?
Is more than I will lose the truth and I will come back like a little small. I don't know. For me, like the baby destiny or a child destiny is so much like a little animal or something, and anybody can kick on it.
Ah,
You don't know what. I
yes.
know I don't have a decision even now, but
So,
because I
who is here?
yeah.
Who is here that can come back? Let's discover that. Who are you now? Who is being now? Is it little Aniko who then next life will come back as little animal? You see? Who is this one?
Okay, but I I I know it now, but you know,
Who is that one that knows it now? Who is it? Is it a tiny human who knows it, or who knows it now? So what I'm hearing actually, yes, yes, God knows it now. God might forget in the next life, you know.
I don't know how it's working. I don't know. I just I just want to stay always.
We don't need to know how, or we don't need to know why. But one thing I'm telling you, that you, whatever existence is here now, is
Yeah,
what we call God. You see,
yeah,
what we call God. So it is
yes.
not that there is a tiny piece of consciousness somewhere who is going to get trapped in a little animal body, who somebody will kick in the next life. It's not like that at all. All of this is the will of consciousness, the will of God. And God is playing this game, you see. And because it is a game, it doesn't need to have how or a why. It is just a game, it is just a Leela. But if you take yourself to be something other than your pure being, something other than this consciousness, then obviously all of these fears can come.
Okay, but still I am in eh, I am also in this body. I am also an echo, and Guruji
Where
is
are you
Guruji.
in this body? Where are you in this body? The body has a certain dimension, a location. You are located inside the body. What is your?
Sorry, I cannot hear you properly now. I don't know
Yes.
why. Could you please repeat?
I said that the body has a certain location and
Yes,
dimension. So
yes.
if you pause for a moment, because there's a lot of echo coming back, and then I
Oh, I
will.
can hear myself.
Yes, thank you. Aunty. So I was saying that this idea that I am an object inside the body. Firstly, the body is an object which is made up of food. You see, so it can contain only other objects. So when you say that I am also inside the body, you see, that means that you are taking yourself to be a smaller object than the body. You see, if you say that I am the space, you see, then it is not the space which is in the body, but it is the body which is in the space. You see, so that is an important distinction, because I don't want you to use this idea that I am inside the body to still identify yourself as the body, or a reason to identify yourself as the body. You are as much inside this body as much as you are inside the body of the dream character when you're dreaming. You see? Now, that dream character is not inside the body. Can I unmute?
I'm sorry, but I don't know why. For a second, everything is just gone, and I couldn't hear the last sentence.
I said, uh, when the dream gets over, what happens to the dream character? Where does it go?
Sorry, it's just go in the nothing. It's just
But
gone.
whose dream was it? Was it the dream character having the dream?
Of course not.
No. So this is just like that. The same consciousness is dreaming this waking state, you see, and will also dream the next life and has dreamt the previous million lives, but nothing has ever happened to it.
So what about self realization in this life? Die before
Yes,
you die. So you know
yes,
even
of course.
about karma. So yeah.
Yes. So you discover what you are in this, so that the dream doesn't seem so painful anymore, so full of suffering anymore. So it becomes like a lucid dream where we recognize that it's all a dream. You see? Now, what has to happen in the next life and whether there will be a next life or not is consciousness has to decide those things. You don't have to worry about it.
But I do.
So stop it. Why would you worry about something that has nothing to do with you?
Yeah. Anyway, I cannot do anything about it. So,
Again, depends. Like even I have added to the confusion by referring to you sometimes as consciousness and sometimes as Aniko. But now I'm telling you that as consciousness, everything will happen only by your will. You are the one in charge. Okay? And as Aniku, you won't exist anyway, so it doesn't matter.
okay, but then what about karma?
What about it?
What does it mean? What
You
does it
see,
mean?
in our intellect, we need to have reason for everything. So the big reason for everything that we found to give to our intellect is karma. You see? So okay, I'm going to mute you again, my dear, for a bit because too much echo is coming. So what I'm saying is that what is the constant question? Why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? What is the meaning of life? Why am I experiencing this? Who are all these people around me? So our intellect constantly bothering us with these things, no? So the sages devised a methodology to keep our intellect quiet, so we could focus on our self realization, and that methodology is called karma. So if there is karma, what is karma? Everything is happening in a fair way. You see? You see? And if you have no intellect, if you're not bothered with your intellect anymore, you don't need to know the reason for it's a win-win situation.
I see. I I understand what you say. It's just a feeling like it's not give me enough. Like mm. So, because if I read Papaji's history and he just explained how many times he had to come back
Yeah.
to reach. And he was already a guru, a teacher, and even had to come back again and went to a lots of hard time and met. So it is seems like a story, like a reason,
So
and
you want like that or you don't want like that?
I don't want. I
You
don't.
don't.
No, I want this be finished.
And what if you change your mind later?
This mind is always coming up. It's not in my hand either. It's just coming in the morning. I was so happy last night. I was in so much bliss and I was just laughing and it even was like everything was so beautiful. This morning I came up and I started to find something in my head and I convinced myself maybe I will die tomorrow and all this bliss and everything is just it just gone away and I don't know what's gonna happen and yeah yeah, so I'm not that
Sorry, too much echo, so I'll mute you for a moment. Remember one thing. every confusion is only about who you are. You see, every confusion is only about who you are. Even if it is asking about some other thing, you may feel like this has nothing to do with who I am, but it is only about who you are. You see, so so come to this recognition of who you are, then all of these confusions will go away.
But I think or I feel then sometimes I get a look into this recognition, and also I feel even more I just deepening inside in the truth, more this kind of fears and mind stuff is just coming up.
Okay.
And it's
So
not like a constant thing.
so who are you?
Yeah, this is the question. I don't know.
That is what is worth finding.
Yeah.
Mhm. That is, I would say, the only thing worth finding out is that, because everything else depends on that. All other answers depend on who you are. Whether you will come back or not depends on who you are. You see, whether this is your first lifetime or millionth lifetime depends on who you are. You see, whether karma works on you or not depends on who you are. So just keep your focus on one question. If you want a question, then it is just this one question: who am I? You see, if you feel like you don't want any question and you want to leave everything, then surrender everything. This is the path of either self inquiry or surrender.
And
Sorry, sorry.
so I would say thank you very much, and but still is a question. Okay, but what if I will never find the answer, or the answer will never find me?
Yeah. You keep coming to satsang, then I give you guarantee you'll find.
Thank you very much, Ananta. Thank
I'll send you a contract by email.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have Prince. Om Shiva, Prince. It's okay, my dear.
बोलना नहीं कुछ
We can hear you, my love. We can hear you now.
नमस्कार गुरुदेव
Namaste,
आई एम सॉरी
namaste. It's okay. It's
आई
okay.
एम इन द हॉस्पिटल
How are you feeling now? How are you feeling? Because I heard about your little accident. I hope you're feeling better now.
या आई एम फीलिंग बेटर यस बट आई जस्ट नीड योर ब्लेसिंग्स
Yeah.
फादर my knee is hurting so much, my head is so much hurting, and I just listening your satsang in a YouTube all the time here on the bed. I don't know what I just listening the satsang.
Good, good. All my love, all my blessings. May Guruji's grace
Thank you
heal
so much.
your body, heal everything that has to be healed in super quick time. And may you have the highest that your heart desires. Who's with you? Your mom is
I'm
with you?
I feel very Yeah, my mom is with me and she's talking with her daughter on the phone.
It's
So I
fine. It's
said,
fine.
little bit stop. I am now on the camera.
It's fine.
I feel very proud, Guruji. I met you in 2020, the March, the February satsang with Guruji and all graces with me. I feel like मैं हिंदी में बोलूँ कि मेरी जिंदगी बदल गई. मैं जो चाहता था वो मुझे मिल गया. कष्ट क्या क्या कह सकते हैं, किसी पे भी आ जाता है. क्या पता भगवान ने क्या सही होगा इसी में हमारा. हम
Yes.
उसकी रजा में सिर्फ राजी हैं.
Very good. Very good. That's the spirit.
और
That's the spirit.
उसका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं कि हमें उसने बचा लिया. बड़े छोटा सा ही कष्ट दिया. कोई कंप्लेन
Very,
नहीं है, कोई कुछ नहीं है. शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद है बस.
very good. Very good. Very good. I'm so happy to hear these words. Very happy.
I am also so happy to. First time I am coming on the camera with you. I am so shy to put because I don't have any questions. Especially, I feel the graces every time. So I don't have any question. I just so much shy to come on the camera. What I say, what I just. And
No,
first time today, I built my confidence to come and raise my hand.
you're doing very well. You're doing very well on the camera. You're doing
Thank you so
perfectly.
much.
And all my love, big hugs to you from all of us. And may your healing continue with Guruji's grace at the best, most auspicious speed. And God bless you. God bless your family, all your friends, all your beloved ones, all of
Thank you
you.
so
And
much.
thank you. Very good.
Guru.
Guru Kripa Kevalam. Very good. Don't be angry with your mom. She's fine. She's fine.
बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, बहुत दिल से शुक्रिया.
Thank
आपकी प्रेयर ने मुझे बचा लिया है. नहीं तो शायद मैं कहीं पे कुछ भी हो सकता था. मेरे आपको मेरे फ्रेंड ने मैसेज किया, आपने प्रे की तो मैं बच गया. मैं बस इतना ही विश्वास करता हूँ कि आपकी प्रेयर ने मुझे बचाया.
All my Father's grace, all His grace, all His grace. Bless
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सो
you.
मच.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, thank you. We can go to Sam.
Hi.
Hello.
The mind isn't letting in the I thought or the me thought anymore. I'd done Who Am I for a long time, and I was good for a while, but then didn't realize that those thoughts were becoming a big problem because there's such psychosis and pain, and the felt was in this formlessness and abiding in presence, and kept going, Who am I? But it just became dead. But finally realized from Muji's past online retreat, they felt power in being in satsang. And I've never actually been in satsang. I've only been watching the videos. And there's been sort of a blind spot to coming to Zoom satsang because only wanted to go in person, but didn't have the money or the mental state to be able to get to it. And there's nothing around me at all. But the mind wanted me to come to Zoom satsang. It just wasn't able to overcome the resistances to coming. So I'm coming now. But the me and the I thought there's much more space, just totally dropping it now and just not letting it in the mind at all. So I just wanted to present myself to a master and actually be in satsang and say the most powerful thing at the moment, the only thing that really means anything right now, is not letting in any I or me thought. And everything's working much better.
I'm very happy to meet you. I'm very happy to meet you, and thank you for coming up in Zoom satsang. I know the mind can create many barriers and says, no, I'm going to be only in in-person satsang. So I'm very happy you made it here. Very good, very good. Do you feel like, sorry, my dear, if it's okay, we can talk some more if you like. Um, let me see. Do you feel like it is like an effortful state to not allow the mind to come in? Is that how it is feeling at the moment?
Only the me thought, because it started to be constantly energized. Like I was saying, please help me to die, because the pain was so bad. And I was then realized I needed to drop that thought, and it was totally hidden in the mind. I was a complete slave to the mind, and until that satsang, when the mind had enough more like power to make it wasn't making the pointing of identity or person to those specific thoughts. It was just thinking, I'm not saying I'm not identifying, so why is this happening? But I was with those specific me and I thought.
And now do you feel like you have to push it away, or do you feel like it's just naturally coming and going?
There is, I wouldn't say there's no effort, and like there's like a mindfulness a little bit always, but it's very, very easy.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. I'm very happy to hear you, and all my love, all my blessings, my dear. And feel free to come up whenever you like. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Niranjan has had his hand up before I came to Satsang, so you can come, my dear.
Hello.
Oh, my dear.
Hello, Father.
Good, good.
Actually, I was going to say it to you for having water, but you heard that.
Okay. Belated happy birthday, my dear. It was a
Oh,
couple of
thank you,
days ago.
Father. Yeah, it was just a couple of days ago. And how's your father?
Huh?
How's your father? I mean, he
Are
had
you?
COVID or?
That was long time ago. Yeah. My biological father, yes, he lives very close by. Both my mom and dad, they got COVID a few months ago. But thankfully, it was mostly asymptomatic. They had very little symptoms and they recovered well. So they're fine.
Because nowadays, something like the research says there's something like long COVID syndrome or something like. So, especially those who had uh, no symptoms or asymptomatic, they feel like tiredness or some cognitive disturbances or things like that. So maybe I just wanted to ask that.
Thank you for asking. So far, by God's grace, Guruji's grace, they seem to be doing okay. They seem to be doing fine. They're giving the vaccine in your hospital as well, or no?
Yeah. Healthcare workers, us, we are getting vaccines, and it's almost about 2 doses are done by now. But I have not taken the vaccine because perhaps I am allergic. I have a few allergies to penicillin drugs and all, and I have a history of anaphylaxis once. So these are contraindications to the vaccine. But more than that, maybe I am not much concerned about the scientific evidence. So I don't know. I didn't opt for that vaccine as yet.
Good, good, good.
We had a game that we were about to play in the last satsang.
Uh-huh. There was some conversation I remember, but I
It was
forget what.
reverse classroom, flip classroom. Like you ask and I try to answer because I don't have anything to continue the conversation. That's why.
Oh, okay. 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 We'll come to that. If there's, sorry, I'm postponing again, but we'll come to it if nobody who's new. Because I'm not worried about you. I'm just happy to, if you're smiling, I know you're fine. So I don't have to worry. But if there's maybe time at the end, maybe we can do something like this. I don't, usually when we used to play the game, it was just to prod a bit, to poke a bit, and to see, like that. But I don't feel like I need to do that with you, especially at this moment. So I feel you're fine again. I feel you're
Yeah, yeah,
fine.
I completely understand that, Father. So it's no need to worry about postponing. It doesn't matter. I mean,
You're doing well. I'm happy to see you happy. And I'll just give some attention to those who,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
newer, and then we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. Sure, Father. Sure. Thank you so
And
much.
love you, love you.
Love
Very happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much.
Okay, Kumar is back.
Pranam Guruji. So
Namaste, namaste.
I have a question.
Oh,
How
you were
important?
traveling somewhere, you said, no?
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed the solo travel.
Acha, very good.
So the question was, how important is absolute desirelessness to realize our true nature? So if we desire for good health or maybe financial stability, are we going away from the truth? And how important is absolute detachment and desirelessness? Or we can be in the play of life and still realize our nature?
So it's a good question. So sometimes there's no set template. No? Sometimes um, the momentum of our desires pushes us into a momentum of wanting permanent contentment or permanent joy. You see, so it becomes like a culmination of our desires and brings us to this point of self-recognition, and there we find that that which we are cannot really hold any desire. There's no such feeling there. Sometimes it just happens in a simpler way where some may just come out of a simple curiosity or something, no? Or just wanting to unravel what is going on, and they come to this recognition of the self, and they find that what they are doesn't really have a desire. Sometimes I say, you probably heard this from me before, but the ego is a 3D ego, three dimension, no? 3D. And what are the Ds? The Ds are duality, doership, and desire. You see? So in when we come to our self-recognition, then this 3D ego gets blown up a bit. You see? And when we let go of the 3Ds, then our self-recognition is also simpler. So it is like impossible to say what comes before the other. So if you pull a horse, then its tail and its head both will come. So, so if you find it natural to just let go of your desires, then just let go. If you feel like there's too much desire, and you see, then I don't want you to focus so much on, I want to free myself from lust, I want to free myself from greed, I want to free myself from money. You see, if it seems like it is difficult, you leave it, you focus on discovering what you are, and that will take care of that. You see, but if it's easier, you see, if it's lighter, just let it go.
Yeah, this is really helpful because another thing on this line was that is absolute, unconditioned, and unjudgmental vision, pure perception, a consequence of realization or it leads to realization?
Both, both. The same answer. You see,
Hmm.
you see. There's like a simple example could also be that like, does calmness of mind lead to peaceful breathing, or does peaceful breathing lead to calmness of mind? You see, both.
So if on a street you see a 20-year-old driving at 100 km/h, would you mentally say what a fool, or there'll be no response? Like it'll be totally pure perception.
Well, the mind can say what it wants, but what changes and what I call pure perception is that its commentary is not believed, or at least not taken seriously. So the mind can play the way it wants, but I don't take its version as the truth. I don't take its representation to be valid.
So you should not fight with the mind. So if I see somebody doing something kiddish, I should not, this is stupid. So if I'm labeling things, so that
Yeah.
it's basically disidentification from labeling process, not the labeling won't stop, or it would stop eventually.
It can stop if it has to, but by thinking about it, stopping it won't stop. You see? So what needs to happen is that we just let it come and go, and then it doesn't matter so much whether it stops or not, and that's when it can stop. When it still matters whether it stops or not, then it doesn't stop.
Mm, yeah, because when the mind gets quiet after a few seconds, now the mind is quiet. So the moment that commentary comes, this piece is gone. So
Well, this you can notice a bit more, you see, because the commentary, if it is coming and going, then it does not really disrupt your peace. You see? It is not in the arising of that energy construct which we call thoughts that our peace is disrupted. When we take its representations to be true, that is when peace is disrupted. You see, and you as consciousness have this power of belief. It is your primal power as consciousness to take your mental constructs to be true or not.
mm, so it's just important to abide as awareness. So this concept of manonasha, which Ramana Maharishi said, total death of the mind. So trying to chase it as an object won't work.
That's exactly what I answered. So I said that if you keep saying Manonasha, Manonasha, when will Manonasha come? By thinking about Manonasha, it's not going to happen. You see, it's going to
Mm,
run more. By letting go of the mana, then Nasha or not is not your concern, and that's when Nasha comes.
understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Okay, Madalena and then Govin. So it's Madalena. Georgina, your hand is up from that time, or you want to say something? You want to? Okay, okay. We'll come to you.
Namaste, Father. I,
Namaste.
I have a question that wanders in my head for a long time. It's about Anna. Now, Anna doesn't have much intellect or mind,
Yeah.
and we are working hard to inject concepts and patterns in her brain. Can she self-realize?
Yes, yes. This self-realization is the one thing that is universally available to all beings, all beings. In fact, it may be very easy for her. When there is longing in her heart for this, it may be very easy for her if she's not so deeply inculcated in deep-rooted conditions. But I'm not presenting any template for how you must parent because of that. You see, you just be a regular parent as much as you can, and that longing, that fulfillment of that longing, leave it to consciousness itself. Leave it to grace.
I don't have this aspiration to be a parent who can preach or teach self-realization, but I'll
Many
put
times it happens that, like many parents will ask me, uh, so now that I'm finding myself, how should I make sure my children don't get conditioned and they are, they find it easy. So no, all that can become very convoluted very quickly. So just whatever grace is bringing, whatever feels most natural for you as a parent, just bring up your kids in that way, and then this aspect of it will be taken care of by grace itself.
I leave this at your feet. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Love. Thank you, my
All my love.
dear. Okay, Govind.
Hi, Father.
Oh, dear.
How are you?
Very good. I'm good. So happy to see you, my dear.
Yeah, me too. I have I suppose just something I want to bring, and maybe if you have any insights, but I feel like it's already dissolving in its own way. So I've been paying attention to beliefs which seem to cause trouble. And there's one kind of belief in particular which is kind of coming into my awareness more and more. So I'm able to see the different sides to it. And there's a kind of physiology to it. It seems like there's a physiology to it. And it brings a lot of sadness to actually to speak about it and to recognize it, because it's really like
I'm with you, my dear. I'm with you through this. Take your time. Take your time.
physiology is this like, you know, they talk about the fight or flight response in the body.
Yeah.
And so it's like I can actually feel the stress, the effects of the stress that the belief causes in my body.
Yes.
And also the emotional stress or pain, or whatever you call it, that arises. So I know that the fact that I'm aware of it more and more is grace. And you know, you've told me so many times that this just to be aware is enough. But sometimes it feels as though perhaps I could be more proactive, either in the moment when the belief arises, because I won't say there's a lot, but there's a fear which comes that tells me that this belief is true. You know, that's what's held it in place. And so I want to ask for some courage to recognize it's not true, it's belief, and to be able to disconnect from the kind of agitation and the not because there is a part of me that just doesn't want to feel stressed and agitated, but I also notice when I go into the agitation, it's really hard then to see it as a belief, and my attention goes completely into it. And I suppose in the past I've told myself that there's some kind of And this is actually part of the belief that there's some kind of like honor or something in getting stressed and in rushing around and in laying aside my own well-being. Like, well, this is my satsang, you know, and I go in this big roller coaster thing, and then that must mean that something good comes out of it, and I'm kind of inching closer to the truth, which I know is completely untrue.
What is the core? What is the core condition?
It's basically that I don't belong, I don't have a place here, I'm useless, and the only way in which I can survive with that, if that's true, the only way I can survive is by kind of coming up with little things to prove to myself and to prove to other people that yes, I can kind of have a place here. And then it's like seeking approval and seeking love, and then when that love comes, it's you know, it all dissolves. And then when what's happening now is life keeps bringing these opportunities where like that doesn't happen, the opposite happens, and I'm faced with this kind of fear of like being useless and needing something to justify my existence outside my own existence.
You know, it's so funny as you were saying this, I was noticing how all of it is true, but about that belief itself, how it doesn't belong, it is useless, it means nothing, and the only way it survives is by keeping coming up with these small things for approval. All of this thing is like the belief talking about itself. It is so not true about you, so not true about you, but completely true about itself. This is the nature of the mind. All of this is like just purely representative of this belief itself, and not at all true about you.
I can feel it in my chest, like this kind of strict.
And this we can't really say what is the origin of these kind of belief systems, but sadly in the human condition there are many environments like school, for instance, sometimes even homes, where these kind of beliefs they foster, and it almost becomes like a defense mechanism for us to hold on to this. So that's, I understand when you say it's like kind of an honor system, or honor code almost in relation to that. So it's sort of becomes then a shield, you see, with which we don't open up ourselves, because we feel like, oh, they won't accept me anyway, or they don't accept me, or they don't treat me as one of their own anyway, you see. So it is a combination of this kind of thing, as well as a fear of yourself being fully open.
Yeah, and the thing is, nobody's actually behaving like that anymore. Like in the past, yes, perhaps, but at the moment, when I look objectively, nobody is telling me you're useless, you don't belong here. Actually, everybody's telling me the opposite. Like there's so much kindness and love around me, around this guy. My mind, the belief itself is generating the perception, the viewing point, and it feels like there's nothing to reinforce it anymore. Like I see those thoughts come, and there's greater clarity. It's just this physiological level of, you know, my heart starts beating faster, my breathing goes very shallow. I start to rush, I start to do stupid things.
But
Can you feel it? Yeah.
can you feel the,
Like, can you feel it?
as you're saying, as you're
Because
saying?
it's active now.
When actually I feel, whenever, and all of us do, so nothing special about Ananta feeling it, but whenever we are in a conversation, we do end up experiencing what apparently the other is experiencing as well. So I do feel it as well. But I just want to bless you and congratulate you, because this is major headway. This is major headway to be able to recognize these things. And I love what you said about being able to objectively look and to see, but nobody's actually doing that. And this is just so beautiful what you said in terms of the belief creating that viewpoint. Actually, the belief itself is just a viewpoint. You see? It's inherent in the belief that it presents this perspective, and then what happens is that confirmation bias comes, and we're just looking for ways in which we can make our beliefs true. You see? And I'm so happy you said that you were able to keep that bias aside and just look, say, but hey, where is it happening? You see, where is it happening? And you see that it's the reverse actually. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to hear. This is very good. And the physiological part, the bodily part, just you notice it, and that is fine. It'll take care of itself. It'll take care of itself. And don't have this idea that you will be healed once only when this goes away or something.
No,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
that's not really how it's perceived now. In the past, yes, sure, there was this like, I just want to get rid of all the pain and have an easy life, and that means, I've succeeded at spirituality or whatever. But I suppose, really, the point I came to was to recognize that. So, like, as an example, it comes up quite a lot at the moment in work. So then I'm thinking to myself, because I notice when it comes, and it comes really strongly, if I then go and sit down, uh, it could take me, it could take my body like an hour or 2 hours in order to come back to a state of calmness. And I know sometimes we say, oh, it doesn't matter what state the body's in, because the truth isn't in that state. But for me, that kind of feels like a bit of a bypass,
Yeah.
because it's been so persistent for so many years. So
Yeah. So I can say something about that, and I've clarified this a bit. I've been stressing on this point. Yes, to say that it doesn't matter is kind of a bypass, and to say that it does, it's really important, is also kind of an avoidance. You see,
yeah,
so to meet it completely labellessly, you see, is true openness, is true acceptance. You see? So to meet it fully, you see, is you see, is how I would meet you. But if I met you in the label of, oh, you're Govind, you're British, you're, you see, you're actually more like Indian actually, because you're more like us, you see, then either of those perspectives is to label something which is so beyond any of those things. You see, in the
yeah,
same way, what is being experienced, to experience it fully pure, fully open, you see, um, then to claim to have a version in our minds of what this actually represents is actually an avoidance either way. You see? So, because when we say it doesn't matter, it's an avoidance, we're pushing it away. When we say, yes, yes, this really matters, you see, then we are no longer meeting it fresh for what it is. We are meeting it with all our history of what we think it is. You see, because I've had this for so long, and you see, this is how it comes, and that is also an avoidance. It's the same as, in a way, it's the same as saying, yes, I've had so many British friends, in the past, this is how the British people are. You see, so it mixes the meeting with a notion of what it should be or should not be, with an idea of being right or wrong. You see, whereas the just the pure meeting is just to meet it, you see, without any. And you will notice as I'm saying it that to take any position with regards to it, either this way or that way, is kind of hiding from it. You see? That this has to go, this really matters, and it's really important that it goes. That can be a position which is avoiding the pure meeting, which can happen just here and now. And to say that it doesn't matter, you see, it's just the body, you see, that is also like an Advaita avoidance or an Advaita denial.
Yeah,
Can
it
we?
is, in fact, the openness to the sensations which seems to like bring greater clarity
Yes,
into the whole mechanics of the whole thing, from thought
yes.
to body to.
In fact, it reveals the clarity of the supreme intelligence which is running all of this. You see, but that clarity is unrepresentable in any sort of conceptual way, isn't it? So that clarity is already there. It just gets uncovered when our nonsense is out. You see, it just becomes apparent that that is the very intelligent consciousness which is responsible for this entire play, and the mechanics of it, the hows and whys of it, become completely apparent to us, but never in a way that we can say, "Oh, this is actually how," you see, or "This is actually why." See, because it is too broad for it to be expressible in those ways. Just like whatever is in front of your eyes, you could represent it for us in whatever words as accurate as you may try. You see, but we will never have the true picture of what's in front of you.
And in order to um, like, if we were to step back and kind of make a concession from that absolute point to maybe that's not needed, but like it has to keep being triggered in order to understand it, doesn't it? Because if it doesn't arise, then there is no visibility, would remain unconscious. That, would you say that's accurate?
Actually, I would say, and tell me how we can meet on this one, is that in any moment of pure perception, you see, in any moment of pure perception, everything about the realm of perception is apparent in our heart. You see, there is no, like it is not just in. Okay, let's look at it this way. In the moment of pure perception, is it just what is appearing in that moment which is apparent, or everything ever in time and space is apparent? Tell me if I'm just sounding too crazy.
I know. Okay, I'm with you, I think. Well, so basically, what we're saying is, can you only know the contents of your attention? Or
In that moment when we are not judging the contents of our attention, like you put it, is it only the so-called present content of our attention which is clear and understood in our heart, or all of time and space is clear and understood in our heart?
that which is clear is certainly beyond time.
But does it
And I
leave out that?
that
Yes, yes, it's very good. But does it leave out that which is in time in that process? Because this is the crux of what we are saying. You see, so
no,
is it
you know,
that
actually,
when we?
time is helping that recognition because it's changing.
Yes, yes, yes. This is the beauty of it. So in that instant of insight, you see, in that instant of being in the unborn, not only is the source of all of this apparent to us, you see, but also that everything that has ever played in time and space is apparent to us. But when we try to squeeze that into our heads, it seems like, but that's not true. But when we meet it really from that same space without the need to translate it into our heads, then you see that it is not just the unmanifest or that which is beyond time and space which becomes apparent, but also the very play of the unmanifest as the manifest, every aspect. And I would say everything that has ever happened in time and space is fully apparent to us. And maybe I've gone too far.
Well, it's interesting that my kind of is that I will automatically default to like perceptual knowing. So it's like, well, how could I know everything that's happened in time and space
Yeah.
unless I'm
So
experiencing it like in a
yeah,
linear way? But of course, that
yeah.
knowing is not a point in time.
Yes, yes, yes. So,
Uh,
so
but if I'm really,
whatever.
I can't quite honestly say I'm fully with it.
Yes, yes, yes. So this is worth experimenting with, because in a way I can say that this is my discovery. Like, it is not that we come to the recognition of ourself, our true nature, as the unchanging awareness, and then it is sort of like in opposition to the world, or in a sort of lack of understanding of the world. But in fact, it is an introduction to ourself as that supreme intelligence, which is the very light, the projector, and the screen of this world. You see? So, in my intuition, there is nothing that has been left unraveled. You see? And I'm speaking of your intuition, same one intuition, one being. In your heart, in our heart as one heart, there is nothing which is a mystery. You see? But when we try to understand it, it remains forever a mystery. It can never be brought over there. So, to the mind, that seems like hocus pocus, of course, because it's just like, what are you even saying? You see, how can you prove it is true? But it becomes so so obvious. It becomes just so obvious that the need to prove it in some conceptual way sort of goes away. You see, so then what happens is that we don't need to go through and unwind every single condition that we have one by one in that way. You see, in fact, it is the that is why the sage could say that all things are perfectly resolved in the unborn. You see, then it would not be true otherwise, because if it had to be perceptually present in that moment, and for us to see through it as a pure perception, and therefore you're gone. You see, that is not a bad process, it's a helpful process. But I'm saying that uh, in that instant of pure
Okay.
insight, you
Yeah.
see, entirety of this conundrum is resolved. You see,
Yeah.
unless we want evidence of that resolution in our mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really
whether, whether you
make me
call
think.
that moment, whether you call it pure insight, or you call it a satori, or you call it intuitive insight, whatever word you want to use, you see, uh, uh, it is going to leave you, or it is leaving you empty of empty of any sort of lack of understanding, and yet not filling you with any sort of conceptual understanding. It is getting in touch with your natural intelligence, the same nature which is running this world. You see, running this whole play of all of this beings, millions of organisms and trees and birds and flowers. Where does that intelligence come from? It is your very heart, it is your very being. You see? And it is that very intelligence which is bringing this to your light now. You see? So whether you call it the Sadguru presence or your God nature, your Buddha nature, whatever you like to call it, you see, that is what you are coming to, you see. And in that, all all of this is, in a way, burping out all of these old conditions which need to be thrown out, vomited out. You see, it's taking care of all of this. But uh, when we try to um, understand that which is beyond the capacity of the mind to understand, then it can seem like, you see, it can seem a bit like stressful or troublesome. So to put it maybe in a simpler way, all that I'm saying is that there's, with full integrity, I could say that there's nothing that my heart does not know at this moment. You see, but but at the same time, there is nothing that my head really knows. You see, so at one level I know nothing, and at another level, everything is mine. You see, everything is mine. All of this has been uh, my play, my projection, happening in my light, on my screen. I am that where all of this comes from. I am that very intelligence which drives all of this. So, and I'm speaking as you, as your divinity. So I'm very happy with the headway you're making and what is being revealed to you in this, and it is happening by the Lord's grace that all the boundaries, all the constrictions, everything is being revealed to you and is being cleaned up. It's being cleaned up. Very good.
So blessed.
Love you, love you, love you.
Too.
And this is my invitation to all of you. All of you. Meet that where everything is revealed in the brightest divine intelligence, divine intuitive presence. Not, you cannot meet it for any sort of ulterior motive or something. You just introducing yourself to yourself, just empty of all connotations and machinations and tactics, just so naked, so open, so naked. This is a beautiful grace, beautiful grace.
Oh, I have a little joke for you as well if you want to hear.
Yes, yes, I love your joke. Yeah.
I was reading Alan Watts'
Yeah.
autobiography, which is such an amazing book. I forgot how good it was. And then he gets onto this section where he starts talking about spiritual practice. And so he said, it reminds me of the man who got on the train. And another man came in and sat down opposite him with a big bag. And every sort of 10 or 15 minutes, he took a piece of like bread out of his pocket, a little bit of bread, and sort of threw it into the bag and closed the bag. And after maybe 1 or 2 hours has gone by, this man's completely curious, you know. So he says to the other man, "Excuse me, sir, what's in the bag?" You know. He says, "It's a mongoose." So, a mongoose? He said, "Yeah, I experience sort of delirious episodes where I feel that snakes are chasing me.
Oh.
So I keep my mongoose to scare away the snakes." And the man says, "Well, surely you realize the snakes aren't real." "Oh yeah," he says, "but neither's the mongoose."
That's it. That describes satsang perfectly.
Yeah. So I had a good laugh at that.
That's a beautiful one. That's a very nice one. You tell us the other one also, the Irish priest. Some of them haven't heard it. You know the Irish priest you and Amba met?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Such a long time. Maybe you can tell it better than me these days. I remember the punchline, but I can't remember
Do you know about the new holy water?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I want you to do it in the accent. Do you know it now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. You guys
You go
actually
on.
had this. You
No,
had
it's
this
not.
experience. You actually met this priest.
Yeah.
So this is the story. So Govind and Amba actually went to this church in Ireland, and there they met this Irish priest who was a funny guy. No? He was not one of those serious priests. So, so this priest tells them, "Did you know about the new holy water?" No, I'm trying a bit of Irish thing, but I can't really get it right. So, do you know about this new holy water? And they're like, "No, no, what new holy water? You don't know about the new holy water?" He's, "No, we don't know. What is this new holy water?" He said, "It's the same as the old holy water, except that now we just boil it so that we boil the hell out of it." And that punchline, I took like a moment to really get. You just boil the hell out of it. Oh, I messed it up actually. So he said actually that there have been some budget cuts. You see? So what they have to do now is that they can't do it the old way. So they just take some regular water and they boil the hell out of it. Nice one. I remember actually telling Guruji this one when we were in Rishikesh, and he also loved it. Did he say it in Satsang one time? No. In a smaller group, he shared. Thank you, my dear. Okay, so Georgina, and Prabha, and Etienne, and somebody had Saranas.
Hello,
Hello.
Father. I can't see. Oh, there you go.
Thank you for earlier. You did such a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's just to say that that your grace is fully here, and just a prayer to just to leave at your feet any remnants of identity with what's not true, and any belief in the false, and just to honor this, to stay open and empty, and just always one with you. Just that. Yeah.
Full blessings, full love, full blessings.
Thank you.
I feel it is true. I feel that it is true.
Thank you, Father. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabha can come. Hello. We don't hear you. Mike. There we hear you now. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
I can't believe that I put up my hand. But there was such a strong urge, and my heart is beating very fast.
Take your time. Take your time, my dear. There's no rush. Feel
So
comfortable.
God brought me here to you. I don't know, must be God. It's totally mysterious. And I just want to say hello and thank you so much, and ask for your blessings, because it was just the right time in my life to come to you and your satsangs. I had a very hard time last year, and up to now, I asked for your blessings for my body also. My skin is freaking out like hell since 5 months or so, and the doctors can't help. And I went whole year to doctors, but they don't find real thing. And I have the feeling it's a big detoxing somehow going on. And with your satsangs and your help the last weeks, I can totally detach from this physical problem, and I feel I'm good, I'm fine. And it needs some discipline from my side to just to connect all the time, but it works. And
Yes.
And I hope that I just ask for your blessing that the skin problem and these allergies, and also in the eyes, and different inflammations and allergies, all kind of stuff on the skin, that it also will heal. Like my soul is healed with you.
So sweet. I love your report. Very nice. Very nice. All my love, all my blessings. May that which is the most auspicious, the highest for the highest, may that unfold with Guruji's grace in your life.
I love you so much.
Love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, it is true that the last year has been quite a strange one for all of us. But I have to say that I met so many of my family members during this time. Like many of you were not in satsang like this before this isolation started and Corona started. So it has brought us many gifts, and it is By Guruji's grace, got expanded my family to all of you also during this time, for which I'm so grateful. So, okay, Etienne can come.
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, my dear.
Okay. Thank you so much. Um, I am very grateful for the conversation you had with Adam, and it resonated very strong with me. And I want to to say I've been all over many years very much um, o- trying to find my answers by the grace of Satsang, to find the answers in myself. And many times I was writing my understanding in the best way I could, and it helped me a lot. And but on the and but still and at the same time, as I've been already talking with you, I feel also some some uh, holding some other attachment to that also. And then lately, it's seeming it's condensing somehow. And I sent you a small condensed thing, which somehow surprised me because it was, and so it feels to me it's a bit. I don't know where I am and what is has to be or not to be, but it feels somehow a good time to address this thing and to put it at your feet, as we as many people say, because eh, I feel I definitely recognize some attachment in grasping, because it's also a kind of culture I've been brought up in, and so I know the root of that, and so I just want to expose it and to put in the satsang light. So
So, may I ask you something about this?
yeah,
What is
yeah.
what is your relationship with the words that come through you? What do you feel like? Do you feel like the words that come through me? Sometimes I read them on Facebook, no? And sometimes I say, "This is really good stuff, man. This is pretty good."
Yeah.
And sometimes I look at it and say, "This is rubbish. This is nonsense." You know, so
Mm.
so so it's quite light and easy. You know, so it's like that. Would you say it is similar in your case, or how is it? What is the relationship?
It can be quite different. Uh, Sometimes I'm surprised, and mostly I actually I love to find them, because actually in the writing they come surprisingly,
Yeah,
and that's the most uh, part of my so-called attachment to it, is because there is a joy in being surprised, because I deepen in the writing. I go deeper than I would with my mere thinking or mere
yeah,
observing or whatever. So
yeah,
that's the main thing. But I don't keep a long time attached to them. They have forgotten. But I like to share them with some people I love, and that's part of like I share them with me. I share them with others. Actually,
very good.
yeah.
So in the process of writing, does it leave you very open? Does it leave you empty? Then it is very beautiful.
Actually, I always feel better after
Yeah.
doing it, because I feel that I'm looking from, actually, when I write, I always address it to somebody, or to many, and so it helps me to 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 have many points of view, actually. And of course, the point of view of the master is the biggest one, because he is like this. He's just having all the points of view, and so it's a joy, kind of, to go in the traces of the master, uh, slowly, yeah, just the way I can, and whatever I can find in this fishing, I'm happy about it. But then it's over. Then the next situation comes another time. But I wanted to expose it because uh, I know it, very intimately, there is some joy, more than joy, still some neediness of recognition in the fact that I share it. And this is not necessary. This is, and at the moment I feel things are. I feel I have some feeling that I won't need it for so long anymore. But somehow, so that was the opportunity, because it just came now in the in this time. This thing came to me. I shared with you. Just I just give it to you.
It's very good. I see no trouble. Some little bit of attachment to the recognition of it, or the like, whether people like it or not, that little bit is natural. It's okay. We don't have to be too hard on ourselves
Yeah,
and too difficult. So it's nice.
yeah, yeah.
As long as we are not
No,
becoming too attached to, that, oh, there are hundreds of people liked it or nobody liked it.
oh, no, no.
You're not being swayed by it. Then it's light, little bit. It's okay. It's completely fine.
Yeah, yeah.
As long
Just
as it's primarily for your own joy and for your own openness, it is very good. If it doesn't become a thing that I'm going to, teach something, or I'm going to change somebody or something like this, which I don't sense anyway in your case. So it's all good. It's all good.
okay. Yeah. Just there's yeah, just this feeling that grasping becomes less. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Very
That's all. Thank you so much.
good.
Thank you so much.
Love you, love you. Okay, last hand for the night. Mahesh, you can come.
Hello, hi Father.
Hello,
Um,
Mahesh.
I just wanted to come because um, what happens sometimes, and it's happening during this satsang, is it's kind of it's a few things. So there's like a feeling of tiredness, like the body just wants to go to sleep. There's a feeling of um, restlessness, and the feeling of wanting to hit the leave button and leave satsang, and it seems like there's a difficulty focusing on what you're saying during this satsang. And I know it's been talked about before. I know Gurji's talked about it, that it's like a false sleep, and it's like all kinds of avoidance technique by the mind, So I just wanted to kind of, I've been trying to stretch, and I've been, opening the window for fresh air, and I've been doing things to try to stay awake. And Yeah, so I just wanted to come up just to kind of push through a little and yeah, expose this or something. So yeah, that's all.
It's good, my dear. It's good you share like that. So, um, what happens sometimes is I come to a room and then we're sharing satsang, and then I notice just like everybody's a bit, yeah, who's aware of awareness? It's awareness, you know, like that. So what I notice myself doing is that I start speaking loudly, just to be a little more like, come on, guys, pay attention. This
Yeah.
is good stuff. So like that. So I notice that sometimes, but usually I'm okay. Usually I'm okay with this thing. I'm not so worried about it because if you hear one or two things in satsang, in any case, most of you will leave with one or two things anyway.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
nature of how much you can remember, and that much is enough, and it's fine. Sometimes, so what I'm saying is that sometimes the remedy can be worse than the affliction. You see, we can make ourselves feel guilty or unworthy or this kind of thing at times.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we must not make the mistake of the master, like shaking us out of it to the lethargic mode to make ourselves feel like there's something wrong with us, or why does this always happen to me, and and in fact sometimes we can just say, okay, today I will come to satsang and I will just see how much I can sleep through. You see? Just come next time on Friday, you come and you say, okay, today I'm just going to sleep as much as I can. You see? And then if you sleep through the whole thing, say, I'll come on Monday and see if I can do the same thing. And on the next, let's see how long that goes. You see? So sometimes we have to reverse it, flip it a bit. It's just like when I say like it was so difficult here when I was seeking this truth to try and come to the being. So I just like realized after I started sharing that if you just flip it and say, can you try and stop being? It becomes much more apparent. You see? So sometimes you don't allow the mind to use its scare tactics and say, but you will go to sleep again. Look at this. This is not right. You see, okay, so today you sleep. Today you sleep as much as you can. Let's see. You see? And then it'll go away. That propensity will just go away too. It is just the mind uses these as scare tactics.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. My sound has got lower during satsang because my throat has got lower. Probably. We're done anyway for today. I'm fully aware that we completely neglected the chat today, but it was quite full on with the ones who had their hands up. But I will read through everything during the bhajan, and I apologize if there's a question that I missed in the chat. Um, if it is strong, you can come back on Monday and we can look at it then. Okay. Ah, today is morning. Okay. Whatever that means. Shri Radhe Shri Radhe Jai Sham 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 Radhe Karunamayi मेरी करुणामयी सरकार हमारे श्री राधे मेरी करुणामयी सरकार हमारे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्याम 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 श्री राधे जय श्याम राधे 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 श्री राधे 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 श्याम 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 Oh, shama 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 shama. Shama 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 shama. Karuna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Karuna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare मेरी करुणामयी सरकार हमारे श्री राधे
Gopala Bolo. Radha Ramana Hari
Ramana Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Ramana
Hari Gopala
Ramana
Hari
Bolo.
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo. Jai Jai
Govinda
Radha
Bolo
Rama
Hari Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Govinda
Govinda
Gopala
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Bolo
Gopala
Bolo.
Radha
Bolo.
Ramana
Radha
Hari
Ramana Hari
Gopala
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 Bolo
Bolo.
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 Govinda Bolo Hari
Govinda
Bolo
Bolo
Hari
Gopala
Hari
Bolo.
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Gola
Bolo
Jai
Ramana
Jai
Radha
Hari
Radha
Ramana
Gopala
Ramana
Hari
Bolo.
Hari Gopala
Gopala
Govinda
Bolo.
Bolo Hari
Govinda Bolo
Gopala
Hari
Gopala
Bolo.
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Radha Ramana Hari
Manahari
Gopala Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Gopala
Bolo Hari
Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari Gopala Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari Gopala Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Bolo
Gopala
Hari
Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda
Jai Jai
Bolo Hari
Radha
Gopala
Ramana Hari
Bolo.
Gopala
Govinda
Bolo.
Bolo Hari Gopala Bolo. Govinda
Jai
Bolo
Jai
Hari
Radha
Gopala
Ramana
Bolo.
Gopala
Hari
Bolo.
Gopala
Govinda
Bolo.
Bolo Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda
Jai
Bolo
Govinda
Radha
Bolo
Hari
Hari
Ramana
Gopala
Hari
Gopala
Bolo.
Gopala
Bolo.
Govinda
Bolo.
Bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Jai Jai
Govinda
Govinda
Radha
Hari
Bolo Hari
Ramana
Gopala
Hari
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Gopala
Govinda Bolo
Bolo.
Hari Gopala Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari Gopala Bolo. Govinda Bolo
Govinda Bolo
Hari
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Hari
Gopala Bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda Bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
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 Govinda Bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Jai Jai
Gopala
Radha
La
Ramana
Bolo.
Hari
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo
Bolo
Hari
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda
Govinda
Bolo
Bolo
Hari
Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda Bolo Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Bolo.
Bolo Hare Gopala Bolo.
Ramaण Hari
Hari
Govinda.
Govinda bolo, bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Bolo, Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari
Govinda Bolo Hare
Bolo.
Govinda
Gopala
bolo Hari
Bolo.
Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo Hari
Hari
Govinda
Gopala.
Gopala
Ramana Hare
Bolo,
Govinda
Gopala.
bolo Hari
Ramana Hari Govinda Bolo.
Govinda bolo Hari Gopala.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala bolo.
Govinda
Gopala
Ramana
Govinda
Hare.
bolo Hari Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo
Govinda
Jaya
Bolo
Hari
Hare
Radha Hari
Gopala
Gopala
bolo.
Govinda
Bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda bolo Hari Gopala
Radha
bolo.
Ramana Hare
Govinda bolo
Gopala
Hari
Bolo.
Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopala
bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo
Govinda
Hari
Bolo Hare
Hari
Gopala
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 bolo.
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 Govinda bolo Hari
Hari
Gopala bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Govinda
Radha
bolo
Radha
Ramana
Hari
Hare
Ramana Hari
Gopala
Gopala
Bolo.
Govinda
Bolo.
bolo Hari Gopala bolo. Govinda
Radha
bolo
Ramana
Hari
Hare
Gopala
Gopala
bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda bolo Hari
Bolo
Gopala
Hari
bolo.
Gopal Bolo.
Govinda Hari
Bolo
Gopala
Hari
bolo.
Gopal Bolo.
Govinda bolo
Govind
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopal
bolo.
Bolo. Govind
Govinda
Bolo
bolo
Hari
Hari
Gopal
Gopala
Bolo.
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 Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo Hari Gopala
Bolo
bolo.
Hari Gopal Bolo.
Govinda bolo
Radha
Hari Gopala
Bolo.
bolo.
Radha
Govinda
Ramana
bolo
Hare.
Hari Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo. Radha Ramana
Ramana
Hari
Hare
Gopala
Gopala
bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda bolo
Bolo
Hari
Hare
Gopala
Gopala
bolo.
Bolo.
Govinda bolo
Govind
Hari
Bolo Hari
Gopala
Gopal Bolo.
Radha
Govinda bolo
Ramana
Hari
Hare
Gopala bolo.
Gopala Bolo.
Very good, very good. Gopal Bolo, Govind Bolo, Hari Gopal Bolo, Radha Ramane, Gopal Bolo. Wow. You're completely healed now. Very good, very good. Very good. I want to tell all of you something very important. Very important. It's related to the first question we had in Satsang today from Helen. I want to tell you that all of you are just like me. The right amount of crazy to be free. The right amount of crazy to be free. Love you all so much. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Sadhguru Shri Ananta-Part ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevalam.